Have you ever stood in front of a heavy door and felt a small moment of doubt about whether you could push it open? Or perhaps you have noticed that carrying your groceries up a flight of stairs feels just a little bit harder than it did a few years ago. Most of us go through our days without thinking much about the physical engine that allows us to move. We treat our bodies like a car that we expect to run forever without ever looking under the hood. We assume that as long as we can get from point A to point B, we are doing just fine. But there is a quiet change happening inside all of us that starts much earlier than we realize. There is a biological clock ticking away in our muscles that begins to slow down as early as our 30s. We often talk about getting older in terms of gray hair or wrinkles, but the real transformation is happening deep within our fibers. This loss of muscle is a natural part of being human, but it is also a call to action. It is a reminder that the person we will be in 20 or 30 years is being built by the choices we make today. To understand why this matters so much, we have to look at the surface concept of physical strength. Usually when people think about lifting heavy weights or building muscle, they imagine a very specific image. They think of athletes in a gym or young people trying to look a certain way for a photo. On the surface, muscle is often seen as something about vanity or sports. We think of it as an extra feature that some people choose to have while others do not. This surface view suggests that strength is a luxury or a hobby. We might tell ourselves that we are not the athletic type or that we are too busy for the gym. We see exercise as a chore that we have to do to look better rather than a fundamental requirement for living a full life. But this narrow view ignores the fact that muscle is the very thing that connects us to the world. It is the tool that allows us to pick up a child to walk through a park or to catch a wave in the ocean. Without it, our world slowly starts to shrink. This leads us to a very deep hidden assumption that many of us carry in our minds. We often assume that physical decline is a one-way street that we cannot control. We believe that getting weaker is just something that happens to you like the weather. This assumption makes us passive. We wait until we feel a pain in our back or a weakness in our knees before we start to pay attention. The hidden truth is that muscle is not just a part of your body that moves you, it is an active organ that responds to how you treat it. We assume that rest is always the best way to care for ourselves as we get older. We think that being gentle and avoiding stress is the key to longevity. But the biological reality is actually the opposite. Your muscles only stay strong if they are challenged. They need the very thing we often try to avoid, which is stress. If you do not give your muscles a reason to be strong, they will quietly start to fade away. We assume that strength is about what we can see in the mirror, but it is actually about what we can do in the world 10 or 20 years from now. If we look at the structural pattern of how growth happens in nature, we see a very clear rule. Growth only happens through resistance. Think about a tree that grows on a windy hill. The constant pushing of the wind makes the wood of that tree dense and strong. Without that stress, the tree would be brittle and would fall in the first big storm. Our muscles follow this exact same structural pattern. To make a muscle stronger, you have to push it past what it is comfortable doing. You have to stress the fibers so that they can repair themselves and come back better than before. This is a pattern of challenge and recovery. It is a cycle that turns effort into capability. We can see this pattern in every area of life. We do not learn a new language by reading words we already know. We do not become better at our jobs by doing the easy tasks. We grow when we face a weight that feels heavy and we decide to lift it anyway. This structural pattern tells us that stress is not an enemy to be avoided but a partner in our development. When we understand this, we can reframe our entire perspective on aging in personhood. We can stop seeing the gym or the weights as a place of punishment. Instead, we can see it as a place of preparation. We are not just building bigger arms or legs, we are building a more capable version of ourselves for the future. This new perspective allows us to look at our 30s and 40s as the training ground for our 70s and 80s. We are investing in our own independence. Strength is not just a physical quality, it is a quality of character. It represents our ability to show up in the world and engage with it fully. When we reframe our relationship with our bodies, we realize that being strong is an act of respect for the life we have been given. It allows us to be active participants in the world rather than spectators. We can wrestle with the challenges of life just like a surfer wrestles with the power of the ocean. We find joy in the muscularity of existence because we know we have the strength to meet it. Applying this to your daily life starts with a simple change in how you view challenge. The next time you face something that feels physically or mentally heavy, try to see it as a warm-up for the person you want to become. You do not have to start by lifting 100 pounds. You just have to start by pushing against your own limits. Think about the small ways you can add resistance to your day. Maybe it is choosing the stairs instead of the elevator or carrying a basket instead of a cart. These small moments of stress are the signals your body needs to stay vital. It is also about thinking ahead. Ask yourself who you want to be when you are 80 years old. Do you want to be able to garden, to travel, or to walk your dog without help? That person is counting on you right now. They are asking you to start lifting the heavy things today so that they can stay mobile tomorrow. You are the architect of your future self. Every time you challenge your muscles, you are sending a message to your future that you still want to be capable and free. This is a form of self-care that goes much deeper than anything you can buy in a bottle. We can also deepen this reflection by looking at how our physical strength impacts our mental resilience. There is a powerful connection between a strong body and a strong mind. When you prove to yourself in the gym that you can handle a heavy weight, it changes how you feel when you walk into a difficult meeting at work. You carry that sense of capability with you. You realize that you are someone who can handle pressure. You become more flexible and more enduring in your spirit. This is the beauty of muscle. It is not just about the tangible stuff like form and action. It is about the intangible qualities of personhood. It is about the grit to keep going when things get hard and the grace to move through the world with confidence. Strength gives us the freedom to be playful and the power to be helpful. It allows us to be the people who can offer a hand to others. By embracing the stress of growth, we unlock a more vibrant version of our lives. We stop being afraid of the passing years because we know we are building a foundation that can hold us up. We realize that the ocean of life has its own muscularity and we are learning how to swim in it with strength and joy. This journey is not about reaching a perfect destination but about staying in the game as long as possible. It is about choosing to be strong because being strong feels good. It is about the simple pleasure of knowing that your body can do what you ask it to do. As you move through your week, keep an eye out for the opportunities to push back against the world. Don't shy away from the heavy doors or the long walks. Embrace the warm-up and the work that follows. Remember that every ounce of effort you put in now is a gift to the person you will be decades from today. You are building the strength to live the life you want. If you look ahead to the older version of yourself sitting in a chair many years from now, what is the one physical activity they are dreaming of doing that you could protect today by choosing to lift something heavy and challenging right now?